The last 4 or 5 years, the market's just treaded sideways. We haven't really seen any appreciation on condos in the last 4 or 5 years. All right, let's talk about the downtown Vancouver condo market, specifically one-bedroom condos in neighborhoods like Yaletown and False Creek, because I have a few different parties right now. These are first-time buyers looking to get into an entry-level one-bedroom in these markets. So a little bit of the background here. Most of these guys are making six-figure income, so they're in white-collar professions. They usually have a wife or girlfriend or a partner that's also making good money, and they usually qualify between about $650 and $750K. So let's split the difference and call it 700. But most of these guys, they don't want to maximize their leverage here. They want to pick up something for the 625, 650 range. And I can find you good units in Yaletown, False Creek, well-run stratas, good location, decent contingency reserve fund, no major upcoming levies. You want to watch for these things, parkade membranes, elevators, big ticket items. I can find you a good unit, but usually these are built in the early to mid 2000s. They are not going to be brand new out of the box. They're going to need, in a lot of cases, a full reno. And what I find with these first-time buyers is they want something brand new out of the box. And fortunately, that we're not going to be able to find you anything like that at that price point. Not in a good, reputable building, in a good location, in a proactive strata. You're not looking at something brand new. 625 to 650, I can find you something, but it's not going to be spectacular either. It's probably not going to have an unobstructed waterfront view. It'll have a small patio, maybe enough to put a club chair out there. But this is going to be kind of a cookie cutter unit, kind of a starter unit. It's not maybe your dream home, but it's a stepping stone. It's getting your foot on the ladder and getting into your first home in downtown Vancouver. Now, if you want a newer condo, first of all, you have to adjust your price expectations here because you're going to be looking in the low to mid 700s to start. You're going to be paying a significant premium. You're also very limited in your options here because I've done many videos on this, how in downtown Vancouver, we haven't been building much in the way of stratified condos whatsoever for about the last 5-6 years. We haven't. There were some of these super luxe developments like the Butterfly, like the Kengo Kuma. These are designed by world-renowned architects, but they're all $2,000, $2,100 a square foot. These are not developments for first-time buyers. They're for a very affluent clientele. They've also now shifted towards purpose-built rentals at the expense of stratified condos. And I think over time, that's actually going to put more pressure on condo prices downtown because we're not building any condos. We're building now these purpose-built rentals. And those are not the solution to housing either. Don't let the NDP tell you otherwise. Now, the government's trying to say that the wave the white flag on affordability, we'll just get you into a rental. Well, these will be market rentals, $3,500 for a cookie cutter, $3,500 a month cookie cutter one-bedroom condo. So you don't want to be a renter in the city of Vancouver. In a lot of cases, these guys are looking for something completed, say in 2019 or 2020, 2021. There's very little selection here. There's basically two buildings at these kind of price points, pushing the high end of their price point, which would be Vancouver House. Now that is a spectacular building. The architecture is incredible on that. Location, maybe not that great. It's built on a remnant lot. The developer West Bank has had some litigation issues on some of their projects. This particular building, within a couple of months of the owners getting the keys, there was actually a major flood. And I think at one point there was a $1 million water deductible on that Vancouver house. Haven't read the documents lately. I think a lot of this has been resolved now. But that is one option to look at. The other, and I actually quite like this development, it's by Concord, really great developer. And that would be the Arc. And I've got a couple of parties interested in this right now. But these will be for one bedrooms. They're going to be in the low to mid 700s to start. You're going to be paying a premium to get into the Arc. Now, if you want an entry level, something for $625, $650, again, I can get you into an older unit. Another option would be to look at a studio unit, maybe even a studio unit without parking. Now, I wouldn't recommend that if you're buying something in Coquitlam, but these neighborhoods have changed. They're extremely walkable, high walk scores. A lot of young people now, they're just taking an Uber. Autonomous vehicles are just around the corner too. I was talking to a client here. Apparently these Tesla cabs or autonomous cabs are all over Texas now. It used to be science fiction, but this is only 3 or 4 years off here before we're going to start to see these autonomous vehicles all over the place. That's going to be a game changer. So if you're in one of these walkable neighborhoods right on the seawall, I think a studio without parking might be a good move. In a lot of cases, a parking stall is going to be another additional $40,000 or $50,000 on the purchase price. Then you've got your lease on your vehicle, $700 a month lease. You could put that down towards your mortgage. So that could be a good move. I could also find you some relatively new units that are a little bit further from the downtown core, maybe somewhere like Joyce Collingwood on a SkyTrain station. You guys, if you can afford it, and I know sometimes it's a stretch, if you can get into downtown Vancouver and surrounding neighborhoods, False Creek, you could put Mount Pleasant in there as well. I think these markets are on sale. They haven't really done all that much. The last 4 or 5 years, the market's just treaded sideways. We haven't really seen any appreciation on condos in the last 4 or 5 years. And usually when that happens, that's how real estate works. You get this boom in prices like we saw, and then it kind of tracks sideways for 4 or 5 years before you get another surge in condo prices. So I think we're overdue for one here. I think downtown Vancouver is on sale, especially given the fact that, now the pandemic's behind us, COVID's behind us, but we also have this new mayor. So our last mayor was crazy. NDP socialist mayor, this Kennedy Stewart. I couldn't stand the guy. He would have been happy to have an opioid vending machine and a safe injection site on every block in downtown Vancouver. He's gone now. Ken Sim seems to have, not a game changer, but he seems to have some semblance maybe of some common sense here. I see more police presence downtown. The Granville Strip is much better, far more police presence, much less transient activity. I noticed that on Water Street as well. That's beginning to change. It'll change even more if they move forward with the plan to turn that into a pedestrian plaza. And they should, because that's the first thing tourists see when they get off the cruise lines there and they walk down to Gastown. They need to clean that area up, and I think it has been slowly improving over the last few years. To summarize here, if you can get into even a cookie cutter 1-bedroom condo, guys, $625, $650 downtown, I think you're going to do well. If you can stretch a little bit and get a really high quality unit in the low to mid 7s, I think that's going to be a bargain in 10 or 15 years. I really do, because we're not building anything. All we're building, there's no stratified condos in development. It's all going to be purpose-built rentals. It's all shifted now. Last point I want to make, the $1 million 1-bedroom condo is coming here. Call me crazy, but look at the pre-sale market. That's a leading indicator of where prices are going. $1 million for a 1-bedroom is going to be the new normal. Matter of fact, I already see some 1-bedroom units. I've seen a couple in False Creek in the mid 8s, mid to high 8s, some even in the mid. These are larger 1-bedrooms with dens in the mid 9s. So we haven't breached the $1 million mark here, but eventually we will. And we're probably overdue for another surge in condo prices downtown because, again, we haven't been building anything. I'm Jay Cooper. Feel free to comment below or subscribe. See you in the next video.